How's it going, guys? Sorry that there's not a little clip on the intro of this video. I am going to try and put them on every video from now on, but for flipping there's just not anything I can think of that would be slightly interesting or a little bit funny to laugh at before we get started. So to start this video off, let's just jump straight into the Grand Exchange. We're going to go over flipping. I'm going to talk about how you can find your margins, how you can sort of look at finding items out, and just how you can make yourselves a bit of passive income. I'm hoping by the end of this video that you're all going to have an understanding, if not already, how you can start doing flipping and just sort of practice it and get better, just so that you've got the general idea and the basics of it. One last thing before we jump in, I just wanted to apologise for my audio. Now, I did actually buy a new microphone off of Amazon and it did come, but it's just, well, it's just terrible. It's just nothing like I thought it would be at all. I didn't jump straight to the best recommended microphones just because I wanted to sort of get a starting off one first and then work my way up. However, I think I'm just going to go ahead and buy one of the Yeti ones as soon as I get paid. So I'm going to get one of those ordered in, and hopefully for the next video or the one after that you'll be able to tell the difference. Apologies again, guys, but it is going to get better, I do promise you. The first thing I wanted to go over, guys, is just what is flipping and just sort of explain it. I'm sure a lot of you watching already know, but just for the people who aren't sure, I'll just quickly go into that and explain what it is and how we're going to actually make money off of it. So flipping is going to be when we go to the Grand Exchange and buy something for a lower value, possibly a slow buy or overnight, and then we're going to put that item back into the Grand Exchange and sell it for a higher value than what we bought it for. Now, that's also probably going to be a slow sell, but the fact of the matter is, if you can do that while you're doing other things like you're bossing or making money or anything, you're going to be increasing your profit on that. Now, the profits can range from low to extremely high. It all depends on the market at the time, what you're flipping, and how much you want to invest. So, just a very specific example of how flipping works is we're going to be able to find our sell price and our buy price. And the way these are different is some people want to instantly sell stuff and some people want to instantly buy stuff. The way this benefits us and the way we're going to use this is we find out what people are instantly selling stuff at, and that's going to be our buy price. And then we find out what people are instantly buying something at, and that's going to be our sell price. The reason that this works is because someone who wants to go bossing and doesn't have any food are going to want to instantly buy some food so they can go right now. And then someone who has loads of food like saved up and they don't have any use for it are going to want their money for that when they sell it. So they're just going to dump that price down, and that's what we're going to buy at. However, this doesn't only work on food and potions and things like that. It does work on pretty much every item in the game. For example, if someone's at next and they are soloing and they've just got a Torva plate legs drop, they're going to bring that back, and there's a good chance they're going to put that in the Grand Exchange and instantly sell it just so they can get that cash injection. Now, if we buy that off that person who's dumping it into the Grand Exchange, we can then sell that to someone who thinks, oh, right, I finally just got this much money, I can upgrade my armor and I want to get some Torva. So they're going to want to buy some Torva plate legs, but we're going to sell it to them at a higher price because they want that now. They're going to offer higher for it than what the person before sold it. So that's how we're going to be making our profit from flipping and how it works and where the margins come from. So now we know what flipping is, let's just go and have a look on how we can find our margins, and then I'll sort of give an idea to you guys of how you can find items as well. I'm not going to specifically tell you what items to flip. These are always going to change for one, and also if I tell you a good item at the moment and someone's flipping that item right now and all of you guys go and flip that, it's going to ruin it for them. They've put their effort in to find that item and they've found something finally that's going to be good. I don't want to have to ruin that for someone. So I'll explain how you can sort of look for good items and how you can test the waters yourself. It'll all come with practice. Don't think that you're going to be good at flipping overnight. I mean, you might be if you can work it out perfectly like that, but it takes a bit of practice to know what items are going to work, and there's a lot more to it than that, and I will go over that in this video. So let's open up the Grand Exchange, and I'll give you guys an example of how we can find the margins of items. First of all, the first thing you're going to want to do is know what item you might want to have an idea at looking at. So don't expect your first item to be brilliant, because there's a good chance that you're going to have to check the prices of a few items before you decide, yes, I want to flip this one. After we go over finding the margins of items and how to sort of find your prices and sell them back, I'll explain on a better way that you can look at finding items and just sort of give you examples of where to look. But just for this video, I'm going to use sailfish as my example. So if I go into buy now and just type in sailfish, I'll wait for that to come up. And once it does, we're going to use the cooked one because I'm thinking PVM, people are going to want to use this and buy it instantly. So if I just put one of these in, you're going to want to put one quantity and put your price right up. And then once that's bought, you're going to check your price there at 2135. And then you're going to put that straight back into the Grand Exchange and put that price down and instantly sell it back. And then once that's bought, check your price again at 2004. After that, we can see that sailfish at the moment have 131 GP margin, and that's pretty damn good considering if we flip 1,000 of them, we're going to be making 131,000 coins just by putting an offer in and then updating it to sell later on once they've bought. Now, if we sell 10,000 of them, that's 1.3 mil just made from nearly no effort whatsoever. Obviously, more money to be invested does lead to higher profit. However, for example, if you could afford to buy all 10,000 of those for the buy limit, you're going to be able to make that 1.3 mil. But if you only had enough money to buy up 1,000 of them or even 100 of them, you're going to make less profit for that turnover. Now, it might go just as quick, you never know, but there's a good chance that you can flip 1,000 of them almost just as quick as you can flip 10,000 of them if the offer's in. Because if someone went to the Grand Exchange and bought out 6,000 at once, you're only going to sell 1,000. Whereas if I've got 10,000 listed, then you're going to sell all 6,000 of them at the one go. So, to carry on with our sailfish example, I'm going to go into my sale history now and look at the very top two items, seeing as they're the last two that I flipped. Sorry that I've blurred everything else out. I don't want to give anything else away, just in case someone's flipping the same items of me in the game at the moment. So, looking at the sailfish, we bought it for 2135 and we sold it for 2004. So we should be able to slow buy them for 2004 and slow sell them for 2135. However, if I go into the buy one now and change our price to the 2004, we could leave the offer in at that much and they should eventually buy, but we know that someone's already buying them at that price. So if we put the price up by 2 GP, just because it's been a while since I did this price check, seeing as I've been recording everything else. Now, usually I'd just put it up by 1 GP because I don't want to cut the margins even more. However, I want this to be a little bit quicker for the video, and also if someone's already cut this person off and gone up to 2005, then I'll be waiting even longer. So we're going to go to 2006, but don't go up much higher than that. So if you guys went up and put 2050, you're knocking so much margin off of your profits. However, not only that, you're going to crash the market, because if you go up by 50 and then someone does the same to you and goes up by another 20 or something like that, then suddenly your margins have lost 70 GP on that, and it's not a very good item to flip anymore. So we've got our buy price at 2006. Now we're going to want to just buy 1,000 for this video, just because I want to be able to show you it when it starts and when it finishes. I'm going to put this offer in now, and then we're going to wait, and eventually these will slowly buy. I know that I should be the highest offer for anyone that wants to instantly sell these, and that's because I overcut the last person that I price checked on. Now, if we go back to our sale history, we can see, just as a reminder, that we can sell these for 2,135. So once these have bought in, even if we only buy like 100 at one go, or if they all come in at once, we're going to put them in to sell at that price straight away. That way, if someone does undercut that price, we're going to make as much profit at that margin as we can. However, if we just left it and then the price dropped down by another 30 GP, we've lost that. So we're going to want to make as much profit on each item that we can. I'm going to put in another offer for something to flip while we wait. The reason being is I don't want to be able to leave these sailfish in there all day and then you guys not get to see an example. So if I put in another one now, then I can show you with that if the sailfish don't work. The sailfish will sell eventually and they will come in, and then I will be able to flip them. However, it could just take longer than I'd like for this video, and I want to be able to give you an example actually today. So the item I've decided to go with was Bayonet Ore. Now, it's got a really good margin at the moment, so hopefully I'll be able to do this before the video comes out and you guys won't be able to see it. I apologise, like I say, for anyone who might have already been flipping Bayonet Ore. It's just, I do need to be able to give an example in this, and as you can see, they're already buying in. So, again, I do apologise if I've now ruined Bayonet Ore for somebody, but I won't be doing any more items to sort of give an example of. It's just these two items. So, while those are buying, guys, we'll just go over the next part of the video that I wanted to go over, and that was explaining how to look for items and what to think about when you're sort of testing out margins on stuff, just so you're not wasting your money on items that are going to be a waste of time for you. We'll start off with someone who's not got maybe the biggest amount of cash to spare to put into flipping. So if we said maybe about 5 to 10 mil as a starting amount of money, you could look at items such as food and potions and sort of low valued items like that. However, take into account things that are going to be high in demand, especially when you've got low amount of money like that. You're going to want to keep turning over items. The more you can turn over, the more profit you're going to make when you've got a low investment to begin with. What I would recommend looking at are items that are going to be used a lot, things that people are going to go through quickly and going to need more of pretty soon after they've just bought any. Things that you could think about are rocktails, sourdough brews, prayer potions, all that sort of thing. Things that people use for all types of bossing and use for Slayer and all that sort of stuff. Now, I'm not saying any of these are actually going to be good. You'll have to go on and check the prices yourselves. All those sort of things might be worthless. Don't just assume that I've told you something and they're going to be good, because chances are I've probably told you something that nothing like I flip and things that don't have that big of a margin, just because, like I say, I don't want to ruin it for all the other people that have items already. Go on the Grand Exchange and find something. Oh, look at that. Selfish, but... So get yourself on the Grand Exchange, look for items and test them out. Make a little note of items that work for you and keep flipping the same items until you think, that's not working anymore. I can find something better. Get a little list. That's what I have. I have a little list and I go through the same sort of items each day. When you've got a lower sort of amount of money to invest, like I say, just keep turning over items. The faster things are going to sell, the more profit you're going to be able to make. But even if we could only afford the 1,000, if we were going to do anything, even a quest or anything like that, and we put the offer in for 1,000, and then halfway through that quest they'd bought, so we jump back to the Grand Exchange and put them in to sell, and then when we've finished our quest they've sold, we've just made 127k while we're doing a quest that we wouldn't have made otherwise. So that's why flipping's so good at making money and bringing it in. It's just a passive income with little effort. And obviously you can do this with anything. Say if you're going to do an hour at Next and you put an offer in, then you can put that offer in, do Next, and each time you bank, you can check up on your offer and adjust it, and then go back to Next. And by the end of that hour, you've probably increased your profit from doing Next, just because you're flipping by whatever amount you've sold. So, you've been flipping items for a while, you've turned over thousands and thousands of items, and you've turned that 10 mil into maybe 20 mil, 30 mil. Now, the next sort of step up from flipping things like potions and food and stuff, don't get me wrong, it's still good to flip resources like that. Just check the margins, and it's always good. I still flip them now. I'm not saying once you've got 50 mil, just forget about all of them. Is looking into items that have a little bit higher value. I'm not going to give you any names because this is the sort of step that I'm looking at the moment, and a lot of other people will be looking at as well. Just go on the Grand Exchange and look for items that maybe are twice as much as the food and stuff like that, and just check out the margins on those. You'll find that quite often, the higher the value of the item, the bigger the margin's going to be. The only problem is, don't get yourself stuck with flipping two items because it's a higher value, and you've put all your money into that, and then you're going to make maybe 100k off each item, when you could have gone back and flipped 10,000 sailfish and made a mil. Now, that just doesn't make any sense to do that. Another thing to take into consideration when looking at items is the buy limits as well. Don't just start buying stuff that you can only flip 5 of if it's not got a big margin. The times that you want to flip something with low amount of buy limits is if it's got a really, really good margin on it, but you're probably not going to be doing that until your cash stack's quite a bit bigger. So look at the buy limits, If you can flip more of those per hour and you've got a good margin on it, you're probably going to be able to make more money off of those. Once you've built your cash stack up a little bit more, you're probably going to want to flip things that have a little bit bigger of a margin. Now, that's perfectly fine. I'd keep the items that you've already been flipping in mind and maybe use those as like a consistent sort of money maker. At the same time, if you are wanting to flip bigger margin items, I wouldn't recommend jumping straight up to things like tier 90s and stuff. They have a lot of risk in them, and I'd recommend sort of getting used to how the market works before you jump straight onto that. Once you move up to more expensive items, they also tend to have a lower Grand Exchange buy limit. Now, the problem with that is you're going to have to start price checking things differently. I will go over this shortly, but I want to just finish on how to find the items and what sort of things you're looking at. There is a couple more things that I just wanted to go over before we move on to the next section of how to price the more expensive items. And that is to just keep in mind when you're looking for items of what's going to be more useful and sort of timings on stuff. So if a new boss comes out and a weapon's good for that boss, or an item is really helpful while you're in doing that boss, or if a quest comes out and another item's useful for that, just take that into account. Think about that sort of stuff as well. If, say, something comes into demand and everyone's sort of buying up the same sort of thing, that price is going to go up, and then afterwards it's going to crash once people have stopped doing it. So just sort of think about those sort of things as well when you're looking at what to buy. You can also go around things like double experience, things like that. That all affects what sort of items are going to be good to flip as well. Right, so you've been flipping items for a while, you've got a feel of how the market works, and the insta-buy, insta-sell price thing has been working out for you quite well so far. You've found a few items that are good for you. Now you want to look at all the items that you know you can flip, but you're just not sure of how to get the prices on them. Things like Nex armors and tier 90 weaponry, all that sort of stuff. So in this section, I'm going to go over on how you can work out the pricings for them. And don't worry, I'm not going to give away the prices now and say this is the price, because it's always going to change. And these weapons do fluctuate, and these armors and things do fluctuate a lot. Like throughout the day, they're up and down all day long. So if you don't know the specific prices already, you're going to have to find these prices yourselves. So if we go into an item and we'll just pick one, say if we wanted to look at Torva legs, seeing as we said that earlier, we'll go to Torva and we'll find the plate legs in here. Right, so we can see here that the Grand Exchange is telling us that the mid price for Torva legs is 26,454,362. Right? This is not going to be your price that you want to buy or sell at, and it could also be miles off of any price or that it's at the moment. So what we need to do from here, one of two things, or both if you want to be extra careful, and usually you're going to want to go to the forums and check if anyone's selling them or buying them there and see if they've got a price in there, but make sure the thread is like up to date. And if not, hop onto the Grand Exchange graphs and look at the graphs and see whether the price is going up or the price is going down, and this is going to sort of give you an idea of what you can buy this at. So out of those two methods, what I'd recommend doing would probably be coming to the Grand Exchange on the Runescape website and finding your item on here. You can see on the current guide price that today's change, 1.1 mil, this item has gone up in price by 1.1 mil from yesterday. Now, that's not too much of a sort of indication of what's going to happen. If you scroll down to price here on the graph, you can see that this item's just gone up and up and up and up since beginning of May. So this is just the 1 month trend. You can change this by clicking here. But if we just look at the 1 month, you can see this item's gone up. So this probably gives you an indicator that it could be a pretty safe item to flip at the moment. But just keep into account that if we put this down to 3 months, you can see it was at 38 mil 3 months ago, and then it crashed right down and it's starting its way back up again. So if you're holding this for too long, it could then crash again. What I would recommend doing is, though, now that you can see that this item is going up in price, bring yourself back to your game. Now that we know that the price of Torva legs is going up, and it will probably continue to go up in the near future, we can sort of work out a buy price for this. So the mid price is that. We're going to offer a little bit less than the mid price, maybe 26 mil. And then we'll put a few coins on just to sort of help it out, speed it up a bit. And we'll put that offer into buy. There's a good chance that that's not going to buy right now, and it probably won't at all. So what I would recommend you do is wait about half an hour and then come back and up that price by about 100k until it does buy. And once it's bought, you take the item back and put it into sell, knowing that the price is still going to be going up probably. Put it into sell for maybe about 6 mil higher. Now, the margins for Next Armors isn't something about 200k to 500k. You're going to want a realistic margin. If you're going to be investing 26 mil on an item to flip, you don't want to make 200k. So, take that into account, and considering this item is going up and up and up and has done for a month, you can probably make a decent margin off of this. So I'd put that in about 6 mil higher, so 32 mil, and then when it hasn't sold over about half an hour, I'd just bring the price down by 100k. Come down 100k every half an hour until it does sell. If you start coming down too far, maybe leave it in an hour and just reduce it by 50k at a time. And then once they've sold, you've sort of got an estimate on a buy price and a sell price, so you can do it again. But the prices will have changed, so don't expect it to buy at the exact same price and sell at the exact same price. So just sort of repeat the process again, but you've got a general idea of where to start. This method of price checking will work on pretty much every single item that's of a high value like that, and it's just the safest way to do it, because then you know that you're buying it for the lowest price you could have, and you know that you're going to sell it for a higher price no matter what. So don't worry too much. However, if you're holding onto an item like these 12 eggs that is going to be held on for a long time because you're hoping that it's going to sell, that's a completely different tactic. If you wanted to hold that, knowing that it's rising, and hope that it keeps going up and you can sell it before it crashes again, just be careful of the risks involved, because it could just crash down and just sort of backfire on you. It's a good idea to do it if you've sort of got that knowledge and you understand how they're going to work. But otherwise, I'd recommend just doing the way that I've told you just before. The last part of this video that I wanted to go over, guys, was just looking at your offers. And to be honest, this Bainite ore was a good idea to put it in before, because I can use this perfectly now to explain this to you. If you've been buying something for a while and you've got a sale in there, but it just doesn't seem to be shifting. So if I go into Bainite ore, you can see here that I've got another 2,500 there waiting. But so far I've bought 7,800. So if I go back and look at my sell, so far I've sold one. Now, that one is probably a good sign that someone's undercut me. They've probably checked my price and gone, right, that's what they're selling at, I'm going to undercut it. So if this happens, don't panic. The margin's probably not dead. Just do another price check. So if I want to go here, see those Bainite ores I've just bought. So let's just do it again. It might not let me now, actually, thinking of the limit. It's 25,000, so that's fine. Put an offer in, instantly buy it. Didn't buy for that. That's because I didn't put it high enough whatsoever. Put it up higher than that. Instantly buy it. 3,890. You can see that that's 3 GP less than mine. So just don't panic. Take your other ones out ready. And just undercut that again by just 1 GP. So 3,889. Put them all in. Confirm that offer, and then they'll start selling again. So just, if something hasn't sold, just check the prices again. Just do another price check on it. Don't worry about it. Don't panic. That's something that I had to learn with flipping. Don't freak out and don't panic if things aren't selling. So that's going to be the end of this video, guys. I hope it's helped you, and I hope you've gained an understanding on flipping, or even if you knew already what to do, I hope you've learned a little bit to put into practice more. Maybe you knew about high volume flipping, but now you know that you can try out things like next items and how to find the pricing on that. So hopefully, guys, you can go away from this and put it into practice, even if you are starting from scratch. Don't panic, like I said, about if things aren't selling. There is risks involved in flipping, but you are always going to make more money than you're going to lose as long as you're careful with it. Don't just buy things quickly and then think, oh, I better sell this because it's not selling anymore. Just be careful with it, be patient, you'll make the money, and I hope that you can go further and beyond than I have with this. As always, guys, like and subscribe if you did enjoy it, and if you didn't enjoy it, comment and tell me why you didn't enjoy it, and I will do my best to improve on that. Like I say, I'm always open to criticism, and as long as it's constructive. I appreciate everyone so far that's liked my videos and followed me and even just viewed them. I am actually buzzing even with my 7 subscribers at the moment and my 250 views. It's absolutely amazing to know that people are seeing my videos. So once again, take care guys. See you later. Bye.